I want to touch base with the management of Finolex Industries now. I've been told that Prakash Chhabria, Executive Chairman of Finolex Industries, is also ready. Prakash, fantastic to have you back on ET now. Thank you for joining us. Now, the success story for the quarter gone by clearly has been a fat expansion in margins. 8.7 has moved to 13.9. I mean, that is a very sharp margin expansion. Is this largely because of one-offs, or there is this genuine, genuine buoyancy in demand?
Mr. Chhabria, is our voice reaching you?
Clearly. Hello?
Yeah, Mr. Chhabria, can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear you very clearly.
Okay, great. We were just wanting to know about how the earnings have been this time around. First, the top line, it's been at just 3% growth. What has been the growth or degrowth in realizations that you may have witnessed this quarter? And what's the reason really for a subdued performance this quarter?
Well, this quarter has been actually a pretty good quarter as well as volume goes. And we are really seeing an uptake in the market. The profitability, so to say, for the fourth quarter was slightly subdued because year on year we have grown by about 400% in our profits. And the fourth quarter was because the prices had certain corrections. But having a good volume growth, the overall year-on-year growth was very good.
The margins for the quarter gone by, they've expanded. Now, is this largely because of a raw material adjustment, or this is an indication that your policy of becoming from a B2B company to a B2C company is working?
I think it's a combination of both, and the latter is more. Reason being, we were slightly late in getting into the market of B2B, but things are catching on, and we're very happy with what we have done up till now.
What is the best way to judge the demand scenario? Should we look at the volume uptake? Should we look at top line? I mean, I'm just trying to understand that which is the key matrix which tells me the real story.
We always focus on volume uptake because, it's one of the most difficult indicators to follow. And difficult as in because it's the most transparent. When it comes to values can keep changing because based on rupee dollar or because of PVC pricing. Tonnages don't change because of anything. So therefore, we stick to only tonnages. Year on year, we have grown by about 12% in tonnage, and we are very happy with the double-digit growth.
Right. Mr. Chhabria, let's also chat about the balance sheet health. Your long-term borrowings have now gone down to nil. Do you plan to take on more debt, and what's your cash flow position post the debt repayment?
See, our cash flow has been very strong for the last 4 to 5 years, and we've been focusing very much on it. Our overall debt about 4 years ago was 1,000 odd crores, and we have brought it down to about 200 crores. And this has been purely because of internal generation. That is without the sale of any asset and without the raising of any equity. So going forward, we look forward to becoming a zero debt company. And at the moment, we don't have any more plans to raise any debt.
The correlation between good monsoon and your product demand. I mean, what we are discussing are numbers for the quarter gone by. The current quarter is unlikely to be a great quarter because of drought and other factors. So how does one judge the monsoon or the rainfall connection here?
See, over the last 25 years, we have seen that a good monsoon is also good for business and a bad monsoon is also good for the demand, because when you have to go far away to get your water, you still do require pipes. And without water, we cannot go and do any agriculture. We cannot even do any industry. So therefore, water is the key for everything. And pipes being pipes, they are the only carriers of water transporters from A to B. So therefore, I feel the demand of pipes will be ever growing.
Right. Mr. Chhabria, just one final question from our end. You've been increasing the installed capacity by about 30,000 MT each year till FY18. Any changes in that guidance?
Well, we look forward to growing by about 10 to 15% every year in volume. And therefore, we will have to keep growing every year, barring unforeseen circumstances. So, like I said, I think the demand for pipes will always be there. And therefore, I think we'll keep growing.
Okay. One final question really. As I look at your numbers for the year, You've done sales of about 2,400 crores, if I'm not wrong, on a standalone basis, with a PAT number of about 233 crores. Is there a growth number or a guidance number that you can leave your investors with?
Being in a cyclical business, we really don't do too much of forecasting. But like I said, instead of focusing on rupees, we focus on tonnages, and we always work on doing a double-digit growth in our tonnage.
Okay. We wish you all the best for that and more in the coming year as well. Thanks so much for taking the time out, Mr. Chhabria, and giving us those thoughts. That's Finolex. The stock active at the start, now about 2.5% higher, so not too much, but still reasonably active in trade. Good going for that one. What else? The market has cooled off just a wee little bit. So we are about 20 points up for the Nifty. In fact, quite a bit from the highs of the day. So keep that in mind as well. What's not cooled off?